Hi, this is Josh Stevenson from Invest North, and welcome to another adventure in landlording. Now this week I want to talk to you about how I was able to take my teaching pension that I contributed towards for 14 years, cash it out, put it into real estate investments, and have that completely replace my teaching salary. That's right, in November of last year I was able to cash in my pension and replace it with income that I'll have for the rest of my life. Now, I didn't retire because I didn't like teaching and I didn't like the profession. I have the utmost respect for the profession. My mom was a teacher, my dad was a teacher, my sister's a teacher, my wife is a former teacher, my uncle's a teacher, most of my friends are teachers. I have the utmost respect for the profession and I applaud the work they do, particularly through this insane pandemic. I actually painted myself into a corner and I had to retire from teaching because after 14 years of income property investing, I couldn't do both, so I had to choose one or the other. So last November, at the age of 47, I challenged myself to take the pension money and invest it and completely replace my teaching salary. Now, before I break this down for you, I have to admit, before I did this, my family, my friends, everybody else in my life told me, whatever you do, don't cash out your teacher's pension. It's like gold. Everybody wants that pension. And that's some decent advice. I've never been a very good listener, however, so I took the money and cashed it out anyway. Now, the Ontario Teacher's Pension Plan is a phenomenal thing. After 14 years of teaching, they gave me roughly $423,000, which was an amazing amount of money. Of course, the tax man wants his cut, so I ended up with about $350,000. Now, for some strange reason, the Ontario Teacher's Pension Plan has a rule that stipulates you have to do this before you're 50 years of age or you can't do it. Ageist? The people at the pension plan told me that I would be getting a commuted value, getting $181,000 in a locked-in sum, and the rest would be given to me in cash. The pension people obviously don't want you pissing away all your money, so $181,000 had to be kept in a retirement plan that I can't touch till I'm in my 60s or something. The remainder was given me in cash, which they taxed at the source at 30%. Now, instead of investing the $181,000 in RRSPs, which most people do, I of course decided to put it into real estate, not surprising. I ended up opening a LIRA account, which stands for a locked-in retirement account, and that money stays in the account. Now, in this LIRA account, you can lend out money to people that aren't your immediate family. I ended up lending the $181,000 to a fellow investor who's given me 10% interest because he's investing it in income properties, and that gives me roughly $1,500 a month. That was the easy part. In order to make up the remainder of my lost salary, I ended up buying 2 income properties. The first thing we bought was a 5-unit Airbnb motel. It cost a little over $500,000, so I put $100,000 down, which was 20% of the purchase price. We turned it into a regular apartment building, and the rents come in at about $5,373, and the expenses are $3,244. This means that the building earns about $2,131 a month. Shashing. After spending the initial $100,000, I was left with $70,000. I took this cash and I ended up buying the cheapest duplex in Ontario. The rents bring in about $2,200 a month and the expenses are only $670 a month. There's no mortgage. So this building actually brings in $1,530 to my pocket each month. The profit from these 2 income properties, in addition to the proceeds generated from the LIRA fund, amounts to about $5,170. So I'm actually getting about $300 more with my new passive income, and I don't have to do yard duty. Now, some people will say, don't you have to pay tax on this new income? They probably don't know about depreciating buildings and writing off the interest in your mortgages. And you got to remember that these buildings are going to appreciate every month and the mortgages get paid down too. And I also want to disclose that my business partner, Brent Peterson, helped me do this and I couldn't have done it without him. Shout out to you, Brent. Of course, I miss my fellow colleagues and the kids that I used to teach. It was a great career and a great job. I chose a path a little less traveled. So the lesson I think I'll leave you with is this. The Ontario Teacher's Pension Plan kicks ass. It sets tons of people up for a wonderful, comfortable retirement. I chose a path a little bit different, the path a little less traveled, you could say. Fred Van Vliet said, bet on yourself. I did. It worked out for me. I'll see you in the next Adventures in Landlord.